amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. So amazing. So amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. So amazing. So amazing. You cause the sun, the sun.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight once again. Oh, sorry. Good evening. Thank you for being with us tonight once again. We're here tonight with Marcos Maldonado. He's one of the co-founders of the Clean Streets in Brentwood and in CI and Bayshore as well. Right? He's been cleaning our streets in Brentwood, CI, and Bayshore for the last 5 years. He's one of the young leaders in Brentwood, and we'd like to honor you tonight by being here. And we thank you immensely for joining us. We're proud of you.
Yes,
know that
very
we're proud of
you.
you.
Very proud of you. You know, I think it's really exciting to have someone so young and so active in our community, and we need more of that. And I think that he has set the bar for that generation.
And he set it so high.
Very high. And so we commend him for that. And we say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on the show tonight. We always open up our show in prayer, so if you could just bear with us for a moment. Lord, we just thank you for the gentleman that you brought to the show tonight.
Yes,
we thank you
Lord.
for his vision, for you enlarging him in this season.
Yes,
Lord, we thank you for Maximo, of course. We thank you for those who are watching tonight. Lord, we ask that you will bless those who are moving in a place called entrepreneurship and that desire to enlarge themselves, that they will see the example of this young man and that you will use him mightily. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. So tell us about the Clean Street.
Sure. And, you know, I would just like to say, you know, unfortunately, my cousin couldn't be here. You know, Michael, we co-founded this idea back in 2010. And, you know, what was interesting was that we were both kind of transitioning between jobs at the moment. And we were just driving through the community one day, and we really decided to take notice of how bad the graffiti situation was, you know. And there were so many other things going on. You know, 2010 was really a pivotal moment in Brentwood and Central Islip. We had so much violence that was claiming young men and even some young women in our community. And it was really a tough time, and different people were starting to get together, and we just thought of this, like, how great would it be if we can eliminate all of the graffiti in one day, you know. And that's kind of what we set out to do. So, you know, as the story goes, we literally set upon Brentwood, Bayshore, and Central Islip and documented every single instance of graffiti on walls, on fences, on homeowner fences. You have a beautiful, nice PVC or picket fence. It doesn't even have to be new. It's just something you're working hard to maintain.
Yeah, definitely.
And they were getting vandalized, so we took these pictures, and then we went to you all, and everyone else, and we said, you know, here's a great way that we can say we are taking back our streets.
Yeah. We remember being part of that. I remember going out with Anna and taking pictures too of fences. We were going all over Brentwood Community Gardens. And taking pictures too. And it was so wonderful just to be a part of it, to clean up our community. It's like giving ownership back to the community.
It was actually awesome because in that time frame, when we think about it, our key scripture for the month, we always have a key scripture, is 1 Chronicles 4:10. And it talks about Jabez. And Jabez was born in a place called sorrow and pain. You know, and being that he was born in a place called sorrow and pain, he had went to prayer and he had asked God to bless him and to enlarge his territory. And it says in the Word of God that God blessed him, even besides what his name meant. He did everything contrary according to his name. When we look at Brentwood, we see that Brentwood is looked down upon. Central Islip is looked down upon. Bayshore is looked down upon because of the region and the type of people that live there, the Latinos, Black, Haitians, Dominican, El Salvadorian, some people call white trash, but God is turning that around by having people like yourself coming into a community. Also, what I remember specifically in that same time frame, that you had originally started off with somebody else, and let's just keep it real because that's what we are.
Right.
We're real women with real talk, and we talk about real issues.
Absolutely.
And at that time, your heart was in a place with another individual, and we won't mention no names, but they kind of got all the glory and all the credit for something that you really birthed out. But instead of you standing in that place and staying focused on what those individuals did, you branched yourself off and continued on with the vision and started all over again. You didn't allow what those people did to cause you to stop and from going forward. And because of that, what happened is everybody just kept going with you. Everybody just kept carrying out the vision.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. You know, this is what I'll say about that entire situation. First of all, that first year was so game changing because here we had a community that for basically the last few years prior, you know, was kind of moving along with the flow. You know, things were happening and there wasn't really much response. So to be able to have something that the community could really rally around, you know, I look at it sometimes, I look at that situation today as if people felt that strongly about what that project could mean for the community, then okay. Then if you wanted to own it that bad, then then we understand because that's all we've ever wanted. We wanted people to we've wanted people to own this project and say we have something in Brentwood that is great, that you know, in Central Heights that is great, that gets results and that brings people together. You know, so I look at that situation and I also understand, you know, we also understand that in order to have great things start, you have to work with many different people.
Yes.
You know, and everyone brings something to the table. You know, whether they know a lot of people and they can help bring you resources or they have access to financial resources. You know, part of what made Paint Back the Streets so game-changing was the fact that we had so many different personalities involved.
And I think that was important because even out of that had to be a painful place because we're talking about Jabez and his name meaning pain and him being birthed out of a place called pain. And a lot of times, you know, us as mothers, we have kids, you know, there's pain that's involved, you know, but what we see here, that once we got past the pain, your project, your vision is still going forward. And it's 5 years. Number 5
and
represents grace.
Stronger.
Yes.
Stronger and bigger.
You know, and you're absolutely right. There's definitely growing pains involved in this. You know, there were a lot of different things going on at the time, and I don't know if people thought that there was an ulterior motive, you know, or to what we were doing, or if we had certain goals or aspirations. But at the time, this was, and still, this is purely something to bring people. It's about pluralism, right? How can you bring people of different backgrounds, different cultures, different anything and everything together around one thing? What's the common thread in Brentwood? We're all, as you opened up, we're all being looked down upon. You know, sometimes even by the people who are supposed to be supporting us.
Right, exactly.
You know, and as people living in a community where that happens, what do we have to show those people that we pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and we get to work? That's what this project represents. That's what me and my cousin have always wanted for this project.
And it also showed the unity in our community. I mean, you bring a lot of people together on that day, you know, and we were not able to do that before all of us started to get involved, before everybody started to take a stand. No matter how small the stand was, you know, we were still able to come together for a common cause, you know, and it's wonderful, you know. We're always there every year, you know.
Absolutely.
And we enjoy it, you know. and we wanted to continue. It changed Brentwood. It cleaned Brentwood up.
Yes, it did.
I was so happy when I didn't see graffiti.
Right.
When I could go down the main streets and it's clean. Right now it's filthy. So instead of 5 tons, it might be 10,000. Instead of 5,000, might be 10,000
this year. I know, right? Oh man.
Because it's dirty. I mean,
it's bad.
It's bad, and we have to clean it up. You know, usually we leave it to our officials to do
Right.
it, our local officials, our politicians, and you know, it's our community.
Right,
We're the ones that
absolutely.
have to go out there.
Absolutely, and that's one thing I want to say, you know, because us as a community, I think what this project represents is the proactiveness that a community can have in order
Yes.
to affect change. And you're right, you know, a lot of times we often look to our elected officials, and it's not that they have to go there and clean it up if we're not cleaning it up either.
Right.
You know, so yes, are there certain steps they can take, and our elected officials have taken those steps, right? But what can we do? You know, and ultimately, as we want more things to happen, we have to come back together and say, you know what, here's what we're doing. We're doing this project. The gardens, you know, which had a great cleanup today, you know, and a lot of the other things. So bringing people together is a great way to celebrate what we're kind of all doing in our own respects, and that's what this is starting to turn into. You know, this year we have 21 sponsors.
That's awesome.
21 different sponsors.
That's awesome.
And when you talk about the supporting organizations and everything else that we have, that number grows to about 30.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, and it's really been a tribute to understanding that we have to come together in order to achieve results.
Yes. But, you know, that's important because, you know, the theme of our show itself is Psalms 133. We love it when brothers and sisters come together and walk in unity, you know, that the anointing comes from the top and goes all the way down. So it's important. And, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, Marcos, because I'm saying, you know, in all actuality, he was the one that really birthed out the unity in the community, that particular organization, because before even the march existed, you were already bringing people together to clean the neighborhood.
To clean it
You
up.
know, so I think that was very strategic and very important in that season. You know, so now you're on 5 years.
Right.
And from 2010 to now, most recent, how much garbage have you cleaned up in the area?
Man, you know, last year alone was our biggest year, and we did 6 3/4 tons.
Wow.
All right, on a day where it rained in the morning.
Yeah, it did. I
right?
remember.
And just about every other Earth Day project was canceled in the town except for ours. So we were able to. Yeah, sometimes I think back. I'm like, I wonder if some of that was water weight in those garbage cans, but it was still a remarkable, remarkable feat. Altogether, since 2010, we've been able to address nearly 400 fences that had graffiti on it. And, you know, as a side note, would love to just give a big shout out to Jose Rodriguez, who,
Yes.
you know,
Still do it.
yeah, he is
still
still
doing
doing
the cleaning.
You know,
Yes, he
Jose
is.
That's
Rodriguez, man, he saw that first event and he ran with it
He surely
hard.
did, yes.
You know, and he really, really did.
And he comes out of his pocket to
Absolutely.
do a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't go. I mean, there was, you know, sometimes, you know, you have particular politicians,
Right.
no names named, that you said, I'll give you A, B, C, and D, and they start in the beginning, but then they fall off.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and no actuality, he does actually just come out of his pocket. I remember I ran into his wife at the VA, and we were talking and whatnot. I was like, hey, here, take something. You
Right,
know,
right,
because
right.
you just know that they're out there and they're not looking for the glory, they're not looking for the fame, but their heart is in the thing, you know, and that's really, I believe, the crux of who we are in Brentwood and
Yeah.
Bayshore and Central Islip.
Yeah, they're passionate about what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to see we want to see our community clean, looking nice, presentable, like every other community.
Like every other community.
You know.
So just to wrap that up, so nearly 400 fences.
Right.
Okay, it was somewhere north of 350, and 20 tons of garbage.
Wow.
20 tons.
Wow. That's amazing.
I mean,
Yeah, he deserves that.
You know,
that's truly amazing.
You know, we have been able to get everyone together, and we've only been successful because you all have seen this as the right type of event to come to.
Yeah.
You know, and because of the help of so many, you know, there would be no clean streets without all of the volunteers. Right. You know, the ones who come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, sign up. Get ready to go. You know, there would be no clean streets without the sponsors. You know, Applebee's, who feeds everyone
That's
lunch.
Right. You have to give a shout out to Applebee's.
Shout out to Applebee's.
Because they're there all the time.
They have been there since 2011.
Yes.
Since 2011.
Okay.
2011, you know? And it's such a wonderful partnership with them. And, you know, we have everyone contributes, you know, and then we were able to add, you know, the breakfast portion.
Yes.
Right? And the breakfast portion this year, as last year, is sponsored by Vanessa Gonzalez over at Exit Realty. And what happens is it's a partnership with Applebee's because they charge us nothing, basically.
It's just amazing what they charge and all the work that's put into it.
And then they let their whole staff come in and serve and everything else. So this year, you know, 5th anniversary, we're really looking to blow it out the water. And one of the main things that's going to be expanded on this year, as opposed to years past, is the community celebration. So so for our 5th anniversary, we have an amazing community celebration plan that's going to start around 1:30, 2 o'clock with DJ Live from 106 in Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually met him a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Brentwood guy, you know, born and raised and everything. And he's going to start off, okay? Start spinning and everything, right? And then we're going to have...
Now, is that going to be in the Applebee's parking lot?
Yep, in the Applebee's parking lot on the stage, Town of Islip. We're going to have a performance by Shadrach and the Truth.
Yes.
Okay, and they're going to be debuting a new performance at the Clean Streets, never before seen.
Nice.
So that's going to be awesome. And from there, we're going to have our twirling girls, Elevations, the young girls. You know, last year they came and did a beautiful, beautiful little twirling act. You know, and they really represent the future of Brentwood and Central Islip.
Awesome.
You know, so they'll come in and do that. Then we have a couple of our PAL groups who will be coming in and doing their thing. We have singers, even a mariachi band.
Oh, nice.
All right. For anybody that doesn't know about this, that wants to get involved, how can they get in contact with you?
Absolutely. I mean, our email is I'm like giving the website over here. Our email is cleanstreetscommittee@gmail.com. That's cleanstreetscommittee, all one word, @gmail.com. And you can call us at 347-292-9272. Again, 347-292-9272.
Okay.
Now, I want to talk about the kids piece.
Sure.
I think it's so awesome you offer, what is it? Well, the kids the services.
Oh, the community service.
The community service. And I want to talk about how much youth is involved. I think that is so important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you know, the youth are our biggest component, and shout out to Yes, because it's like they truck them in.
So many of them.
Right, Youth Enrichment Services, who's always been, you know, a great, you know, partner in the community. But what happens is that they're the main component. You know, we want them to have a great time and understand what it is to keep their community clean. When you think about last year, last year we had about 250 people total. About 175 of those were kids.
That's awesome.
You know, so the adults come out. You know, some of the kids are older, so they're there by themselves. The younger ones are there with their parents, and that's great. You know. And I would say over the last 5 years, we've had about 1,000 youth volunteer through our events, and about
That's awesome.
700 to 800 parents.
That's great. That's great.
You know.
And so how many kids do you break off in the group when you send them out into their sections?
So you know, Clean Streets works like this. We break up into groups of 10, okay, and then we go to some of the hardest hit areas of Brentwood, North Bay Shore, and Central Islip, and then we get to work. You know, shout out to Suffolk Transportation because they provide the buses to transport people, you know, to and from all the areas.
Yes.
And what happens is the bus driver knows the location they're bringing you to, you know, and they'll bring you there. They'll say, Group 1, here you go. You know, here's your area. This is what you're going to clean up. They'll go there. It's obvious what you have to clean up. There's no, there's garbage. Oh, no, there is garbage.
There is garbage, yeah.
And then they get to work. Okay, then after that, you know, we can go there, we can service them. You know, if we need to send them out water, we also have additional vans provided by Suffolk County PAL and Youth Enrichment Services as well, so we can get them water, extra supplies, whatever they need. You know, and it's just so when they're done with that, we send them to another spot, and then the process continues to about 1:30.
I remember when you first started. Since then, it's like so much better organized.
Yes.
I mean, no, not in a bad way.
No, of course.
But no,
you don't know what you do back then.
no, but I mean, it's like everything is on time.
Right.
The buses drop you off, they pick you up. It's like, you know, it's such a big difference from when we first started. You know, so I'm just commending you on the, you know, the improvements,
one of the things,
the advancements, you know.
You know, when we started, you know, when me and my cousin thought about it, you know, in 2010 when we were all going hard, this was more passion against things that were afflicting our community.
That's true.
So it was, I don't want to say rage, but it was definitely primal how we were acting.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
we were like, no, we need to get rid of this. I don't care how the paint comes in, throw it over, bring brushes. I don't care. We're doing this. If you remember, we were putting 5-gallon buckets of paint in people's cars.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
We had it.
I remember my brother drove over. He was like, "Give me more paint, please. I'm in the house." I was like, "We're out of funds." He goes, "I got it."
We had paint in our cars for like a whole year after that.
Yeah.
And Anna and I would get out of our cars and just start painting, you know, because we had it.
And you think about the liability.
We
you
weren't
know,
thinking
and
at all.
right, nobody was. Because we're like, oh no, we're going to paint these fences.
I remember we painted a fence that Anna and I were saying, why are we painting this fence? We need to knock it down. And we were painting and it was falling apart.
Oh my God.
But we painted that fence.
Right.
You know, we had to get it painted. And other people were just staring at us. The owners, they were on the other side.
But they didn't say anything. That's the whole thing. They just let you paint their fence, and they weren't even saying anything.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. You're thinking they're gonna come out and say, "What are you doing painting my fence?" You know?
They just looked at us until we were done.
And you know what? And I mean, that's a whole nother story. That just shows, you know, how not used to good things happening in our community that the residents in our community really aren't used to. But that's a different story. But to get back to, you know, to what that was, we were able to take something that was just passion and love and turn it into a product that families can bring their children to, know that they're going to have a safe, organized event that's going to accomplish something, and in there they can teach lessons, you know, and understanding about what's important in our community. And it's really been because we've had such great support. You know, I never want to underscore the support we get from organizations like Brentwood, you know, like Brentwood Gardens and Brentwood Association of Concerned Citizens. They're there every single year as well. You know, shout out to Lenny and Ray and everyone over there as well. Because again, we all know that if we come together,
right,
we can make a huge difference.
A huge difference. So again, here we have the 5th anniversary. It's really the anniversary of our community coming back together. You know, you have, right, when you have a family, right? Every time you celebrate a birthday, you celebrate that moment your family became bigger, or your family became home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this should be.
Yes.
A celebration of when our community, you know, rose up and created the modern movement that we have today.
I like that point, but we're getting about to go to break, and we'll be right back with you.
Stretching under sedation, or manipulation under anesthesia, is a very gentle, very precise procedure to very slowly release any scar tissue that is formed as a result of a traumatic injury. Many people ask, how does this work? Will I get hurt? Will you stretch me too far? We only stretch the body part to its normal range of motion. After completing the post-MUA rehabilitation program, it's very common that our patients say to us, hey, I can play ball with my kid again. Hey, I can bowl again. Hey, I can enjoy hiking again. This is what makes it rewarding to us as practitioners.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 of a cup.
Shannon Gates is the #1 fence provider on Long Island, with the most inventory in stock, including vinyl, chain link, and aluminum. Gates offers a custom powder-coated system that prevents rust throughout the life of the fence. We carry fence tools to the trade. We even stock wood, rail, and glass hardware as well. Shannon Gates has our very own patented locking system. The next time you need fencing of any sort, both commercial and private, give Shannon Gates a call at 631-392-4330. You can also visit our website at shannongatesinc.com.
I think this is a good time to tell you. You're doing okay, Mom. I can call you Mom, right? I know we haven't known each other very long, but you seem like a real keeper. You're not perfect. There was that strained carrots incident, but you're trying. You pick up my bottle every time I toss it out of my stroller. That's high comedy to an 8-month-old. You hum the Barber of Seville when you wash my hair. So cool. And your rub-downs are out of this world. Anyway, I want you to know how much I appreciate you. You know, right? How much I love you? You're doing okay, Mom.
Time to make the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are always fresh. I made the donuts. We make them at least twice every day. Time to make the donuts. Not a few kinds, like supermarket. Made the donuts. Time to make the donuts. But up to 52 varieties. The donuts. Time to make the donuts. I made the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, up to 52 varieties, fresh day and night. No supermarket can say. Time to make.
Buenas noches. Gracias por estar con nosotros esta noche. Otra vez estamos aquí con Marcos Maldonados. Él es el coordinador de las limpiezas de las calles. Este es el 5º año. Él empezó esta limpieza en el 2010, limpiando las calles de Brentwood y Central Islip. Es algo anual que él ha hecho. Él También está su primo Michael Ramos, que trabaja con él. Ellos fueron los fundadores de este programa. Es un programa que ellos han hecho todos los años. Ellos unen a la comunidad entera de Brentwood y Central Islip para que nosotros podamos limpiar nuestras propias calles, que nos podamos sentir orgullosos de nuestra calle. Y estamos aquí esta noche dándole honor a él por el trabajo tan grande que él ha hecho. Estamos contentos porque él está con nosotros, porque es un hombre joven que ha tenido esta idea tan magnífica para unirnos a todito nosotros, para que nosotros podamos salir y limpiar nuestras propias calles, para sentir ese orgullo de los otros pueblos alrededor, que sí tienen sus calles más limpias que nosotros, pero nosotros tenemos que saber que nosotros mismos tenemos que coger esa iniciativa para limpiar nuestras calles, para hacer cualquier cosa para mejorar nuestra comunidad. Y estamos aquí esta noche dándole ese honor. Gracias, Marcos, por estar con nosotros esta noche.
Thank you.
So we're going to do a special shout out to the shirt right now. We focusing on that. If you can see what our t-shirts are going to look like for this year, we're super excited. 5 years of Clean the Street Project. Now, we used to do 2 separate sections, right? Do 2 separate times, and that has changed over.
And I don't, if you guys remember, the first year we actually did 3 events, right?
I just remember doing Brentwood.
I remember.
We did 2 in Brentwood. We did
2 in Brentwood.
The first one in May. The second one in June. It was actually on graduation day, right? And then we did the one in Central Islip in 2010. Then we were like, yeah, that's crazy. You know, the 3 events, that was just too much. In 2011, we went to 2 a year. Okay, one for Brentwood, one for Central Islip. And we did that for 2 years. In 2013, we really looked at it and said, you know, how can we provide one experience for everyone that is the same, that's manageable, and you know isn't rushed? Because what was happening, and I'll just tell you briefly, what was happening was that we had all this time to plan for Brentwood, you know, leading up, photos and everything else, and we could get this humongous effort and support, and then Central Islip was, you know, maybe 2 or 3 months later, you know, and it wasn't as supported, you know, because some of the bigger sponsors would only choose to do one, and we didn't want there to be any, you know, disparity between the 2. We wanted everyone to have a great time, so we said, you know what, why don't we just put them together? We'll have a bigger event. You'll cover more
areas,
and we'll get the kids from both of them. Everyone will have a good time, and that's where that turned out.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, while we were in the middle of a break, we were talking about your short-term goals and your long-term goals.
Yes.
And so we see the short-term goals have actually expanded. We were talking about how it would be wonderful if this can be expanded into other areas across the island, you know, that they have an example to follow. What would you like to see come out of that?
You know, ultimately, when the event first happened, when the event first went down, my cousin and I were able to. We were asked originally to do this in Huntington.
Okay.
Okay, a community with very similar issues.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
And we took some initial steps, you know, to see if that was going to happen, and eventually it did not happen. But then it kind of always gave us the idea, well, what could happen if we worked with other communities, you know, to show them that this is a great way to get your residents involved. I have to say, where this came out of, the whole idea, all right, and I guess this is more this is more so you understand where I even thought of how do we get everyone involved, okay? When I was living in Rochester for a number of years, there was an event called the Rochester City Sweep, okay? And it was a summer-long thing, and, well, it was a month-long thing, but every week they divided the city into 4, and that week they did that quadrant.
Oh,
The next week they did the next quadrant. And you'd come out, it was a free event, and they'd feed you lunch. They'd have a big barbecue, you know, they'd give you bags and gloves, and you'd go out there, you know. So I always thought and that was when former Mayor Robert Duffy was there, you know, and then he went on to be Lieutenant Governor. So I always thought that was awesome. You know, and I said one day if there was something that can happen, you know, that would be the way I would like to go. So that was the original thought process there. So then fast forward to when me and my cousin were looking at graffiti, it was that model that we used, that I thought about when we created that event.
Yes.
Bring the people together, feed them, give them everything, and just send them out. So it was that model that we used for Paint Back the Streets. And then when we were successful in basically eradicating the graffiti from the community, we said, I said, all right, well, let us do the actual cleaning part.
Yeah. And how did Applebee come on board?
We asked. I kid you not. We asked.
That's all it took.
That's
you asked.
all it took.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Ask and you will receive.
You know? And absolutely. And shout out to Congressman Steve Israel.
Yeah, I remember. He was very active.
Man,
and a lot of the things we did in Brentwood.
Absolutely.
He was very active.
Yeah.
Very active. And talk about all you have to do is ask. The very first meeting that we had with him, I remember there was so many of us in that room. You know, my cousin. Shout out to Billy. I don't know. Were you in there? Well, whoever was in it, it was like 8 or 9 of us, right? So we're all in there, and now it's time for me to ask. And I'm like, right. So we just get into the ask, and Congressman Israel, bless his heart, man, because he
was excellent.
He looked at me and he looked at his assistant and he's like, you get these guys whatever they need.
Wow. Yes. Kimberly was his assistant
Well,
back then.
no, it was Dora at first. Dora Miles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then Kim came on. Kim came on in 2011 at that point. But that's how that all started. So all you have to do is ask.
That's right.
Right?
You can't lose anything.
Right.
They say no, you just go to somewhere else.
You just go somewhere else.
Exactly. You
especially in our communities.
You move on to the next
That's
one,
right.
So I understand that. I remember when we were starting the Neighborhood Watch.
Right.
We went to one house. If that house said no, we kept going to the next and to the next. We didn't give up.
And you really had an uphill battle in that part of the neighborhood, because out of all of the parts of Brentwood that were trampled upon, here's our part, and it was like really, you know.
You know, they call it Brentwood Gardens, but we know it as the park.
You can't
it's someone's a little stuck.
My 2 cents in there. If you want change, you can't keep going back to the past, because then we'll never change anything. We have to embrace the newness of what we're trying to do. I know there's fond you can't ever forget the memories that will always be there. Regis Park is in your heart no matter what. You can't, you'll never forget the times that you've spent there. But now, just like Roberto Clemente Park, we want something new. We have to change it. Carlton and CI.
Oh yeah, when they created all that,
whole
absolutely.
new place, So I'm not dismissing Regis Park, because it will always be part of us, no matter what. But we have to embrace the newness.
And I like the fact that you said that, because we just know. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where we came from. We know where we came from. That's where our roots is from. But the importance of, and I'm going to always go back to our base scripture, the enlarging, the brand new part of it. Right. Now, what is it called now? It's called Brentwood
Brentwood Gardens.
Brentwood Gardens, but it's a long name.
Well, no, the community
organization. It's Brentwood Gardens Community Organization. Right. But the area is just Brentwood Gardens.
Right.
So for those people that are listening from Regis Park, we'll never dismiss their past their present. That's part of them. You know, it's part of us. Because of what Regis Park was, we are the ones that have there to try to make a better Regis Park.
No, you're right. You're right. Look, if it was all about, you know, if it was all about just focusing on those aspects, we would still have all that graffiti all around the community and say, yeah, well, it's Regis. You know, and right.
Because that's the mentality.
That's the mentality.
You know, that's the mentality, you know. So I think that's very good that you brought that to a point.
Yes.
And, you know, I like the fact that you said that because it just shows change.
Yeah.
A continual change in a community that's continually walking together. And we continue to keep enlarging our area, even though there's so many things coming against us in that area.
Right.
So it's very strategic. You and Anna did a beautiful job over there.
No, again, it's not me and Anna. It's you, it's Marcos, it's everybody that had a hand in making that change.
Now, wouldn't she make a wonderful town councilwoman? I just absolutely think so.
Oh my God. And I also want to, you know, we don't want to divide.
Right.
We want to unify. So those people that have Regis Park in their hearts, we want you to embrace the newness, the new things that we're doing there. We don't want to discard anybody because we all belong there. We all have a special part there. We can all make a difference. And we don't want to separate. We want everybody to be part of the change that's occurring in Regis Park.
That's
wonderful. You know, so we have to mention that because we don't want to divide. We want to unify.
Do you see just sitting on this couch right now? Now, Marcos and I, we grew up in that area that we now call Brentwood Gardens.
Yes.
And we came from the area when it was drugs infested, gang infested, everything. And then you see a totally different outlook over there. You know, and look how he's put us all together in his own right. You know, you understand what I'm saying? How we're all working together. I think that's so important. But let's just get back to Clean the Street Project. Tell us some of your sponsors for this year.
Absolutely. You know, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to just recognize them because, again, without them, you know, we really wouldn't have anything. You know, one of our big sponsors of supplies is Keep ISIP Clean. You know, and shout outs to Nancy Cochran, you know, over there on Main Street because this year alone she gave us, I think it was, 700 bags.
Wow, awesome! That's great.
400 gloves, 400 bottles of water.
You know,
I mean,
and she knows how important this project
absolutely.
is. So, you
know, and the first time it was funny because the first time she did, you know, she supported us for Clean Streets 2011. You know, me and Mike were telling her, like, look, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. You know, we're going to pick up a lot of garbage. And she was like, all right, I'll give you some. And, you know, I'll come. When she saw how many people and what was coming back, she's like, I got to go back. She came back with so much more. And then she realized that we were for real. You know, so again, shout out to Nancy because, you know, ever since then, she has given us whatever we needed. You know, and that's another thing too that I think we've been good on. I think we've done well on is delivering. You know, we've had
your word,
we've had 10 events over the past 5 years. This is gonna be our 10th event.
Wow.
Okay, and every single event has brought at least 100 people. Okay, has picked up at least 3/4 a ton of trash or more. All right, and has really done what it has set out to do is bring people together. You know, so again, this year our sponsors are Applebee's of Brentwood, Affinity Health Plans, 3 Seasons Landscaping, Brentwood Pharmacy, Brentwood Alumni Student Association, Brentwood Association of Concerned Citizens, Brentwood Chamber of Commerce, Combined Health, Cordala, it's a long name, so I'm not even going there, the David Ortiz Memorial Scholarship Fund, Vanessa Gonzalez from Exit Realty, G&G Screen Printing. G&G Screen Printing, they're on Pioneer Drive.
The T-shirts.
They are so awesome. They, you know, because for the event, it's only for the event, at cost, no labor costs.
Wow, that's awesome.
They're the ones that provided the T-shirts for your first event at the Harvest Festival.
And the Brentwood Gardens T-shirts too.
Absolutely. Again, Keep ISIP Clean. National Waste Services, because someone has to pick up all that trash, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So shout out to Jimmy DePalma over there at National Waste Services. This year they're giving us 8 containers.
Wow, that's great.
8 containers
That's
this
nice.
year. So Power Team Realty, who has supported us both last year and this year, they're a 2-year sponsor. PSE&G Long Island.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they have come in.
They need to support us.
Yeah, and
our rates are high.
They not only.
I'm so sorry.
Pause. What happened? Not only
Real women, real talk.
That's right.
Who we are.
Bring the rates down.
Yes.
Not only are they bringing in money, not only are they giving us money, they're bringing in employees to volunteer.
Oh,
That is awesome. Yeah, let's give them a hand.
Absolutely. Thank you, PSE&G. They'll tell you about the rates later. We also have the Salvadoran American Chamber of Commerce who has joined us this year as a sponsor. Suffolk Transportation, who's been awesome. Suffolk PAL. Ultimate Sweat Zona, which is Wendy Rodriguez. Wendy Rodriguez. So shout out to Wendy and thank you very much. Youth Enrichment Services.
Yes.
And Zeus Designs, who did our 5th anniversary logo design here.
Nice.
We maybe get a shot of that. Yeah.
That's great.
And
I just want them to see what the back of your shirt says.
absolutely. And what we'll do is we'll take one out over here.
Royalty.
Yeah. So we have.
That is so awesome.
We have one here for each of you, and on the back, these are our preview shirts, and it says, "Coming to your community, May 2nd, 2015."
Awesome.
And these are in the yellow and gold Central Islip colors.
I like those colors.
Right? So here you go. One for you.
Thank you very much.
And one for you.
This is awesome.
This is awesome.
Thank you very much.
Now, the event T-shirts, the event T-shirts will be, in safety colors, as always.
Yes.
And but that's just a little something for you guys there.
Now, people who are interested in registering, this is the registration form?
Yeah, actually, you can show them that first one. These will be our registration forms. These are the registration forms that we developed for this year's event. Allow us to just capture the information quickly and.
Just wanted to mention that he's going to be offering the high school students community service credits. So that's important.
Yeah, and what we're looking to do, which is a little different than in years past, is we are giving everyone the opportunity to get their letter right away. I'm going to try and we're going to create a letter where we can just enter in their name,
nice.
write in their name real quick and give them the copy.
Give it to them right there on the site. Okay.
Well, after they complete.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right. You're not getting that letter beforehand.
At the end of the tour.
Right, at the end of the tour.
After the cleanup.
But we'll have someone, who will then take all these, and whoever checked off yes will just fill it up.
That's great. So you have the program together. We have the registration form. Anybody who's interested, May 2nd, they can contact you. Have a website, a Facebook page, Instagram.
Facebook, yes, Clean Streets Committee. Email, again, cleanstreetscommittee@gmail.com. And phone number 347-292-9272.
Great. So they can still volunteer. They can still call, correct?
Yeah. I mean, we take volunteers up until the moment we're putting people on the bus. Even after we put people on the bus, come in, sign up.
How many bus loads did we have last year?
Last year, so I guess altogether we ran 4 buses. So we had, you would say, 8 bus loads.
Wow, that's awesome.
8 bus loads. And this year we're anticipating somewhere northwards of 350, close to 400 people. We've had an excellent run with our advertising this year. Shout out to Jairo Zaluga, who put us in Long Island Latino magazine. Nice big ad over there. So that was very much appreciated, and we're gonna get some good TV coverage from FiOS One.
Nice.
And on My Long Island TV. As well.
And Women of Destiny, too.
Yeah, and Women of Destiny will be there. And they'll be able to talk about their experiences.
That's right, we will. Our next show, we'll mention this because we'll be there working.
Yeah, and we'll be happy to. We're gonna have a lot to do.
Yeah.
We're talking about nearly 50 locations this year.
Wow.
That have significant garbage. A majority of them are in Brentwood. There are some bad CI ones, some constant offenders, but Brentwood unfortunately does bear the brunt. We
what
just
about
have some
the Bayshore area? How much?
Well, North Bayshore. I mean, we cover everything down to Spur Drive. So basically, I guess technically, right? Everything after the tracks is technically North Bayshore, but going down Fifth Avenue anyway. So there's a lot there.
Yeah,
I mean,
there is.
Over by Marvin, or is it Jensen? One of the roads, which is next to the supermarket. I mean, we got to put at least 20 people there, and they're going to be there at least an hour.
Wow.
Wow.
So you start your event as soon as the event is over. You guys start planning for the following year, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, we take 2 hours to pick up all the garbage and put it into the dumpsters after the event. Literally, so when everyone goes home, we have a after event crew that literally goes through all of the locations and picks up all of the bags, and then we think about it. We always like to debrief and then see where we had successes or where we can do improvements and how next year could shape up.
Right.
There's always planning going on.
Right.
This year planning for Clean Street started in January. And then it just kind of snowballs from there. But what we're hoping is that we're gonna refine this product so well that anyone can take it if after me and Mike, and then be able to do this in the community and know that you have a template that's gonna be successful.
Well, hopefully there'll be somebody that'll have the same,
the same passion as them.
Right, that you have, so...
because you have to have passion to do what you do. And you have to love the community.
Well, you're a mentor by trade.
Yes.
And because that gifting is in you, that's just who you are. You just really want to help the next generation get to the next level. And
absolutely.
Are you grooming any young people that may want to come behind you to kind of pick up the project just a little bit? Have you thought about that?
There's a couple... there's a couple of people, but that's not necessarily there yet,
Right.
It's just thoughts, because it's not about, do I want to do this anymore? No.
Right.
It's about, can this live beyond me and my cousin? Can it be something that does, go from person to person? And maybe that's in a reason why it's not in itself its own business.
Right.
Because if it can grow, if it can move from different people, then it takes on different lives and different energies, and maybe 15 years from now we're coming back, looking at the 20th anniversary, and there's another
awesome.
28-year-old young man, talking about, I've been doing this for 5 years, and,
right,
and all that.
That would be great.
What's the I would say, I guess the legacy that you want to leave behind. I know you're very young, you're not going anywhere, but I know that there is a legacy that you want to leave, that when people hear Marcos Maldonado, when people hear your cousin's name, Ramos, I don't know, what's his full name? Mike Ramos. What is it that you believe that you want to leave behind? I know when I hear your name, I think youth, I think mentorship, I just want to do what's right for our community.
Yes.
When I think of Marcos Maldonado, anybody say anything to me? Oh, Marcos. Oh, yeah, he's a community man.
Yeah.
He's a man, that wants to make sure youth are getting everything that deserves to them. He's a person that wants to do mentorship and who's making sure that his community has a vision and that it's not left behind. What is it that that's what when I hear Marcos, that's what I see. What is it? And I know that's a very deep question right now, because it's kind of like, hey, but what is the legacy that you want to leave behind for the generation that's coming, your generation, your children? So with that, we'll let you simmer on that, and we're going to go to break.
Sure.
5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes, so just kind of wind us up a little bit.
No problem. No problem. if there was anything that I wanted to be thought about, it's just together. You know, just that word, together. Because, you know, I've seen in all of my experiences in life, you know, I've seen people do things apart, try to drive apart, you know, for various reasons. Okay? When we do it together, there's much more impact. You know, we can accomplish so much.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
And when you take the personal, I don't want to say greed, but the personal need out of it, right? There's a million things that I need. None of them are in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
So if we take out what we need and just focus on what makes the environment better, then I feel that that's what I want people to see. You know, we need a better community.
Yes,
definitely. And you have to take selfishness, yourself out of it.
Right, you
And
have to
it's
take yourself.
for the betterment of everybody instead of just one per individual.
Right, or even a select few.
Right. Yes.
You know, this has to be about moving the bar forward.
Yes.
You know, when we look at from a deep, I mean, when we look at some of the things that affect our community, and we talk about the lack of jobs and you know, the prevalence of violence and stuff like that, all of those things are individual. This is something that is together.
Right.
You talk about great communities, they're doing things together.
Oh yeah.
Right? They're getting involved together. They're all coming out. You know, so if we can have more events like Clean Streets, that would be awesome to bring people out.
Awesome. I think that's great. I think that's a great way of kind of like winding up the show, because when we walk not as individuals, but we come together as one, we have more success. You know, in the beginning of the year, I was talking to Maxima, you know, the Lord just shared some things with me about take on the mindset of success. Success is the key word for this year. And success you cannot do by yourself, but it has to be together. So that's perfect. That's perfect that he said that.
Yes.
And we talk about enlarging our territory, right? But we can't enlarge unless we have help.
Yeah.
We can't do anything in a movement.
And like he said,
right.
there is power in unity.
Yes.
You know, and in unity, you can do so many things. We've done so many things in Brentwood within the last 5 years. But, again, we didn't do it alone.
That's right.
We had volunteers, those volunteers that come out to help out, you know, unselfishly, not thinking of themselves, but thinking of, making our community better. Because there is so many things that ails our community. But as a whole, a lot of the volunteers have come out to make a difference and to turn things around. So I understand what you're saying, you know, when you take self out of the equation and you think about everybody else and what's best for our community, you know, and that you have that passion to make things better. You know, you can see the improvements that have been done. You know.
So, well, this is the close of our show. Thank you, Marcos Maldonado. Thank you, Clean the Street Project. We are
Real Women
with Real Talk. Women of Destiny.
Women of Destiny.